First collection, ammachic X filtered. Let's make it happen.
We're not cool enough
Let's
for
make
that.
it happen.
We are not
Come
cool
on.
enough for that. Hi guys, welcome back to our podcast Filtered, and we are so excited to have you listening here today. I'm Celine.
I'm Sharon.
I'm Benita.
I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Hannah.
And today we have the privilege of having a special guest, Liya. Woo!
Yay!
She's an entrepreneur, a co-founder and chief creative officer of West by East, a former stylist for Gucci, Vogue magazine, and Chanel, a wife and a mother to a very handsome baby boy. And she's paving a path in the fashion industry.
Wow.
Come on.
So, Liya, do you want to say hi to everybody?
That's a lot. You really
She's thriving. She's thriving out here.
That's a heavy intro, guys. Much to live up to.
So do you want to tell us a little bit more about yourself and who you are?
Sure. So I am Liya, like Celine said. I am one of the co-founders of West by East. I'm just out here as a South Asian American woman trying to build a wonderful, successful business and kind of take all of my fashion expertise and kind of share it with the masses. But yeah, that's you kind of said everything that I did and done and do. So, that's everything in a nutshell.
So what got you into fashion?
I always say if you asked 13-year-old Liya what she would be, she would have never answered she would be in fashion. She would probably have said something really pretentious like ambassador to Uruguay or something.
Oh, wow.
Most of my friends growing up in Chicago and people who've known me since I was a kid all find it incredibly fascinating that I'm in fashion. It totally happened by accident. I went to school to study politics, and I minored in Arabic and French, and my goal had always been law school and then the Foreign Service. And basically, I turned 18, got into college at NYU for this program that allowed me to live in Florence, Italy for my freshman year. I was a scholarship student, so I also had to do work study. And the only job I could get because my Italian was so poor was at this touristy steakhouse in downtown Florence. I was a waitress. I was the worst waitress that you could ever imagine in life. I just hated it. It just wasn't for me. I couldn't do the whole serving tour. I was just over it within 2 months in. So the thing that happened that changed kind of everything for me was Florence was the headquarters of Gucci. And during one of the lunch hour rushes, the then creative director, Frida Gianni, came in to have lunch with a couple of her assistants. I was assigned a table. Mind you, if you asked me to point out Gucci in a lineup, I could not tell you what it was. I had no idea anything about it. All I knew was that in this lunch, this woman kept complaining about how she doesn't have an assistant who can write in good English and that they kept sending really bad emails to the New York offices. So me being me, which is I live by the motto of, carpe diem, which is seize the day.
Wow.
I was like, you know what? I can speak really good English, and if it means I can get out of this restaurant, I will do it. So what I did was, as I was giving them the bill, I was like, I dropped my perfectly polished English, which is very much indifferent to my very choppy Italian. And I was like, I'm more than happy to transcribe emails for you. I'm a student at NYU. Mm-hmm. I, speak very well and I write very well, and I'm happy to give you a writing sample. I'll never forget, she kind of looked me up and down. Granted, my uniform was a white button-down shirt and black trousers and a black apron, which is classic waitress look. She looked me up and down and she was like, come to my office tomorrow, 8 a.m.
Oh my god.
She didn't tell me where her office was.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so I had to figure out where it was. But I showed up at like 7:30, and the security guard was like, this is Italy in 2008, and in Florence, they don't see a lot of brown people. So in general, I used to stick out like a sore thumb because I obviously did not look like my Italian counterparts, and most of my classmates were not people of color. So I was always just like sticking out. So when I got there at 7:30, the security guard was like, are you sure you have the right place? Like, what are you doing here? And I was like, I promise you, she said to come here at 8 a.m. I have my writing sample. Like, she told me I can come. And then, I started as her third assistant. And she was my mentor. She taught me everything I know about fashion, about, just clothes, and really made me fall in love with what it means to dress, what it means to dress women. She lived by this very simple principle of the joy of dressing. And when I first started with her, I was just doing grunt work of just like prepping things and all of that. Then she would start asking me questions during styling sessions where I was there to just take notes, and I would just look at it and, make a suggestion, and she would like my suggestions. And that's when I realized, like, this is kind of interesting. I, have this weird eye for this kind of stuff. And I really fell in love.
I just had a quick question. So you said you were a politics major, right? So how did your parents and your family back home kind of take to the shift from you deciding from politics to fashion?
How did you announce that to them?
I know.
Basically? Like, hey guys, I'm not gonna be a lawyer anymore. I'm gonna go into fashion.
Because she went to Italy for one thing, and she comes back and she's like,
I work for Gucci.
I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, and I say suburbs very generously. Celine, you just spent some time in Ohio. So where you spent time is how I grew up, which is very rural and surrounded by cornfields. And so, I grew up in a world where I didn't have access to a lot of things beyond, what I could see in, a library book or in a magazine. And so growing up, I was always determined to get the heck out of Dodge. I just wanted to see the world. I wasn't sure how I was going to do it, but I knew I would do it. And luckily, my parents had been prepared from a very young age to be like, well, this one's she's going to do what she does. And because I was always a planner, and because I always kind of did well academically, that kind of gave me my space. But also, both my parents are unique in the sense that they both left home at 16 at very young ages and lived abroad and lived in different countries and did what they had to do to, survive and thrive. So because I was very fortunate to have parents from that perspective, they didn't really hinder me from a lot of things. I was telling my mom, I was like, Mom, I didn't realize how laid back you were. And she's like, yeah, I probably should have been a little bit more strict. But I was like, well, it all worked out.
How did you find the balance between the Western and Indian fashion and with I know you said you don't design, but styling?
Well, actually, first, before you answer that one, just explain what West
by East is?
Yeah, West by East is.
Sure. So West by East is my first baby. We are a digital platform that produces made-to-measure cultural clothing. And it's a completely virtual and customized experience. And really what we are all about is preserving your culture seamless. And we want to do it through your wardrobe. So West by East really caters to the South Asian diaspora. We help produce large volume outfits for bridal parties. We do a lot of custom wear for families and wardrobe packages. We do bridal and groom's looks. The whole concept, though, is that you as the customer, are the designer, and we just help facilitate the process for you. And we do it completely through a digital experience. You fill out a quiz, you get a digital design book, you get your measurements taken virtually through your phone. So we make the whole process seamless, and we have our own factory. We produce everything in-house with our amazing tailors, and we use cutting-edge technology to do it, so we are able to produce the most precise fits possible. We're also size inclusive, which is hard to find in South Asian brands, but that's something that's super important to us. And we really focus on affordable, accessible quality. And what that means is, you know, we pay fair wages, we source out of ethical locations. All of our fabrics and everything are more pure quality, but we don't nickel and dime you. So what you get with us is a perfectly fitted, beautifully made garment that you hopefully get some versatility out of. We tend to encourage mix and matching, and that kind of lends itself to my personal style philosophy, which is, you know, utilize everything in your closet. I don't believe in silos in your closet.
That's my biggest. That is my biggest. What's it called?
Because whenever I have
yeah.
something to go to, I need to go to the mall and get a new outfit.
Yeah, that's because capitalism has trained us to want to consume, and you have to untrain your mind of it.
I can't. I feel like I look at my closet and I'm like, maybe I'll just wear the black shirt that I wore last week. Like, I don't have any. I feel like I don't have anything. I mean, I have a lot, but you just feel like you don't have anything.
How do you untrain your mind to do that?
So there's a few ways. One is hire a stylist.
Well, if you're broke, how do you untrain your mind?
So, you know, I'm a budget dresser. I'll die a budget dresser. Like, it is in my DNA. Like, my mom and I, like, it's just, I will never pay full price for anything, whether it's designer, whether it's, you know, retail. I believe in thrifting, I believe in vintage shopping, and I believe in stealing clothes from my mom. But, you know, that's just my 3 philosophies to maintaining a wardrobe. But this is real tea. Okay, if you are really serious about getting the most out of your wardrobe, there are a few painful steps you have to do, and that is, number 1, take inventory. You have to literally pull everything out of your closet, create categories: tops, t-shirts, blouses, trousers, jeans, sweatshirts. Just, you have to take it all out, group it out, and then number 1, purge. If you have not worn something in 2 years, it's
You
out.
hear that? You hear that, guys?
Sell it,
Purge.
donate it.
What if I need it the next week, though? What if I
You will never need it next week.
I was literally just thinking how much, while you're talking, I was like, I want to see what her closet looks like right now.
Oh,
I was like, it must be immaculate.
It's not immaculate, but because I am an organizational visual freak, I have a system in my closet. So everything has a place. So, you know, it may not be the neatest. I mean, when I used to have countless amount of times, I would like even space, color code. I would do all of those things.
So you don't buy on trend, right? Like that's basically that's you don't want to buy on trend. You want to wait until you really want a piece to really fork over your hard-earned money, right? That's like the mentality that you should go by.
Do you follow trends as well?
There are, every season, I will pick up a trend that I know will A, work with my body type, and B, will work with my general wardrobe. But the trick about trends is you have to have a really strong sense of self when you are looking at trends. You need to understand that how are you as a woman? What do you like to wear? If you are someone that really just loves wearing hoodies, then why are you, don't bother, wear hoodies. Like, my thing is live in your truth. Like, if your truth is sweatpants and hoodies, which, by the way, I hate to say it, Kanye called that one 10 years in advance. But, you know, if that's who you are, then that's who you are. Don't buy that dress being like, one day I'll be that girl. Because you're never going to be that girl. You're going to be the girl that you are. And that's okay. You should embrace that. And I have found that as I've gone through different phases and different ages, I have a preference in each of my age brackets.
I have a question. So we talked about in a previous episode about how it's hard to wear such eccentric outfits or like dress up just a little bit without getting judged in this community. So like, have you experienced any backlash with any of that?
You know, because I left home at 18, I mean, I sound like I'm like Oliver Twist, but when I left at 18, I really wasn't immersed in the Indian community after that. I mean, most of my oldest and dearest friends are from the community. I was raised in the community. Fortunately, the community that I was raised in was pretty open-minded with me growing up, so I never felt any sort of backlash in the way I dressed as a kid. My mom would always be like, why is this your look? And I was like, well, Shobana wore it in so-and-so film, so this is what I'm rocking. Like, that's just, you know, so I was always given a little bit of grace. And I had been in a bubble for so long of just being around people who always wore what they want to wear. The wilder, the better. You know, you were kind of applauded for putting together a full look. So that's always been a bit of an adjustment for me. It still doesn't stop me. Like, I'm still going to wear what I want to wear. And anybody who questions it, I'm like, you can think what you think, but I know that this is a look, and that's all that matters, you know? And every time someone questions me on a look, I will get a million compliments on the outfit, and I'll just be like, and there you go. And that's why they call me an icon. No, nobody calls me an icon except for myself. But I'm just, and my point is the community is always going to be the community, right? It's always going to judge. It's always going to give its 2 cents. The power lies with you on what you want to do with that. You can either allow it to dictate your life and you can, you know, comply by it, or you can decide, you know what? The community is not paying my bills. The community is not, you know, putting me to sleep every night. The community doesn't know what keeps me up at night. So why should I live for the community? Mm-hmm. I'm going to do what I feel is right and what works for me and be me. And now that I'm a mom, I constantly think about this because I'm like, my son is going to be raised in the South Asian community, and there are aspects of it that I don't necessarily agree with as a person, as a woman, as an adult. And I don't want my son to also like kind of fall into. And this is one of those things where it's like you're so afraid to do anything because of the judgment. But what is the judgment actually going to do to you? It's not going to do anything to you. It's not going to stop my money. It's not going to stop my life. It's not going to do anything. There might be a few side eyes. Okay, and I can live with that. You know, like that's just been my attitude. You know, I sound very like I've embraced this a long time, but it did take me a minute to get there. It took me a while to be like, you know what? This is okay. Like, I don't know why I'm like busting my head over this. Like, it is what it is, you know? Yeah. And that acceptance takes time, and I think it comes with age. I also think it comes with, you know, an awakening within you as you discover who you are. Like, you guys are really young women and you're just on this journey, and I always say, like, give yourself the grace and patience. If you feel that you're making decisions based on community pressure, that's okay. It's going to take time to like break away from that. It's so easy for anyone to say, oh, don't pay attention to it, like forget it. That's really hard to do. That's really, really hard to do. It was really hard for me when I had decided to do West by East and decided not to go into politics. That backlash was really hard to process. And I had a lot of people doubt my abilities. I had a lot of people question. I mean, my parents and I didn't speak for like a year. It was a huge thing for us. And that entire experience taught me that when you know deep down in your heart that this is what you were meant to do, and you have that conviction, and not just you have the conviction, but you have the hustle to make that conviction true, nothing is going to stop you. Like, it's going to happen. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. And that experience, when I decided to start West by East with Tanya, you know, both of us talk about this all the time. It was really hard on our families. It was not something that was done lightly. It was something that was done very thoughtfully, with a lot of deliberation. And I don't regret making the decision. I would have probably done a few things different, but still, making that decision did kind of change forever how people viewed me. And I had to come to terms with that. I had to accept, like, you know what? They're not going to see the same, like, 16-year-old debate champion Leah. They're going to see the 23-year-old out of her freaking mind deciding to start a fashion company Leah. Like, that's what they're going to see. They're not going to see, you know, the old Leah. And I had to be okay with that.
Besides your family, did you face like backlash from the community because of what you
know, I can't say that I really faced the backlash. I think my parents faced the backlash more than I did, because I wasn't there. I wasn't in Chicago when I made the decision to start West by East. I was in New York. I was in my bubble of, like, people who, like, were like me, starting their own business, being in fashion and all of that stuff. So I didn't really have to face the community like that. In many ways, it was a cop-out now that I think about it. But, you know, I didn't have to necessarily face it. What I did have to face is what people were saying to my parents, and then they would be upset at me for. They're like, you know, so-and-so said this to me, so-and-so said that to me. And I can very easily tell them, well, why do you care what so-and-so thinks? But, you know, our parents are a product of their times, and for them, their community is incredibly important to them. It's important. It is their home base, because they're so far away from their own family and friends, and they made, like, all these big sacrifices to come here. Community is important to them. It's not, I always say, it's not fair for us to judge them for their need for that community, because it is, in many ways, their only sort of solace in a world where they really don't fit in. Like, you know, it's not like America was the most welcoming place on the planet. It's not like they were made to feel equal to everyone around them every single day of their lives. The community was really the only space where they felt normal. And so that's where that, you know, attachment comes from. And I recognize that, and I acknowledge that. And you know what? I just took the beating. I was like, you know what? I understand, and I'm sorry that they feel that way, but this is what I'm going to do. And I think that helped in healing with my parents, because I wasn't, like, arguing with them about it. I understood that it was hurting them, and I thought it was fair to acknowledge that I was hurting them, but I also wanted to make it clear, like, I have to live life on my own terms, and this is my own term. And if I fail, it's only because of me.
Do they see how far you've come with West by East, and, like, feel so proud of you? Because I would be so proud of you.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, they were just at a wedding where we had done the bride's outfit and the bridesmaid's outfit, and my mom, like, took 50,000 pictures and videos and sent them to me. She's like, you can use this for social media. None of it is usable. But I was like, I don't know what angle you took these at. Like, everybody looks terrible. But, and she was like, I told everybody you made these outfits. I was like, first of all, I didn't make them, but that's fine. Thank you.
That's such a gratifying feeling, though, no? Like, after...
Yeah, it's really gratifying.
After going through all of that and having them have to face the backlash, like, having them see the pride and joy that you, like, worked so hard for, and them being so proud of it, I feel like that would be so amazing to experience. With you starting that business, though, as a woman of color in the fashion business industry, have you faced any issues or problems?
Oh, right. Yeah, definitely. I mean, during my magazine styling years, that was probably the hardest. You know, Europe in many ways is pretty progressive, and this concept of, like, I mean, I was considered exotic, but I wasn't considered other. Does that make sense? So when I was with my Gucci colleagues or with my Chanel colleagues, I was never meant to feel different, but I felt appreciated for my perspective. I mean, obviously there was a few cultural lack of awareness things, and, you know, that comes with the territory. But I think when I was more in Vogue and at Vanity Fair, when I was styling there, the world of fashion in America is very much a place of privilege, because in America at that time, they did not believe in paying interns or paying stylists. They were just like, you should be grateful to be here. So the only people that went into the industry were people of means. I called them trust fund babies because they came from wealthy families that could afford to pay for their lives while they lived in Manhattan. And so they were able to do those internships and jobs for free and then get a really high paying job in those industries. So in many ways, while fashion is supposed to be this democratic space, it was incredibly exclusive and not at all inclusive. You know, I really understood how different my colleagues were and how that difference really colored the way our interactions were. Like, you know, they would be talking about like summering in the Hamptons or spending their Christmas in St. Bart's and all this stuff. I remember Googling St. Bart's because I was like, where the hell is this place and why did they all go there? Like, I just didn't understand what it was. I didn't understand this concept of like summering, like having a summer place and all this stuff. And also around that time, I transferred from NYU, which I loved NYU. I loved being there, but I got a really good offer from Harvard. So I transferred over to Harvard. And that was even a worse of a culture shock because it's just, even like the brown kids came from privilege. So I was like, I don't play tennis. I don't understand what you people do. Like,
oh gosh, not tennis.
Why are we watching people row a boat at 5 a.m.? I don't get it. Like, I don't understand what this is about. Like, please help me. Like, what? And then I was like, why are you brown people doing this? Like, didn't our ancestors, like, escape this? Like, I don't think this is a good idea. Like, it was very much like a get out situation. Like, why are we all doing this? Like, I just don't get it. But, you know, I think those experiences, really made me determined to never look dumb. Like, I wanted to know about all of these things because I was like, there is no way in hell someone else is going to say St. Bart's to me and I'm not going to know where that is. Like, I'm going to know where Gestad is. I have no idea what that is, but I will know what it is by the end of it. Like, it's not necessarily that I wanted to fit in, but I didn't want to be the noob in the room. So I was like, I will find out what this blue blood life is about. Do I want to live it? No, thank you. But I will know how to serve a tennis ball, and I will know how to row a boat, and I will know how to do all of these things because, damn it, I'm not going to be the only one that doesn't know how to do it. Like, I'm just not.
What do you feel was one of your biggest accomplishments out of all of this, like, this whole journey?
You know, I think the biggest thing I can point to is I walked away with this insane ability to be adaptable in any environment. And that's something I'm really proud about because it's not just a life skill, it is what I believe to be the secret of my success and what makes me me is being able to adapt and learn and understand and adjust to my circumstances. And also not just adapt, but also to thrive in that space. And I think a lot of it comes back to the fact that I wasn't scared to take chances. Now I have this weird like nervousness thing that has developed, but I'm working through it. But you know, I wasn't scared to take chances. I was always fearless. Like, I'll do it. I'll go. Whatever. Let's figure it out. Now I'm a little bit more reticent, but you know, the 20-year-old me would have done anything. Like, not like anything, but you know, I was always up for an adventure. You know, I really cherish that part of me, and I cherish those experiences because it has made me a stronger leader. It has made me a stronger creative, it's made me a stronger human, because it allows me to be a lot more empathetic and understanding to the people around me. And I feel like it's prepared me for motherhood pretty well now that I think about it. But yeah, I would say that's my biggest accomplishment, just learning how to adapt and thrive.
I have a fun question for you, so you've accomplished so much, right? So far. Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? Like, what's your next adventure? Or you can't
That's a
tell
good
us that
question.
because,
No, I'm happy to share because I believe in manifesting. So in the next 5 years, the goal is to grow West by East into like the #1 platform to create ethnic clothing, not just for our culture, but for other cultures, and hopefully sell and make buku cash. We're not gonna manifest all of that. The only other thing that I want to do in the next 5 to 10 years, well, there's only two things. One is at some point I would like a flower farm.
Ooh.
I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do that.
Wow.
And two, I would like to launch my own label.
Like Indian clothes?
That's
or
just...
You would...
I don't necessarily want it to be Indian clothes, because I don't just consider myself Indian. I consider myself an Indian American, and I think my sensibilities are both, and I don't believe my clothing should be restricted to one or the other. So that is a dream of mine that I would love to do in the next 5 years.
First collection, ammachic X filtered. Let's make it happen.
We're not cool enough
Let's
for
make
that.
it happen.
We are not
Come
cool
on.
enough for that.
I'm down to clown.
And with that, who's ready for Hannah's... Okay, we're going to cut to the music right now. So, for today's segment, we have our lovely guest. I call her by her Instagram handle, ammachic, but Liya. I am going to ask her some unpopular opinions, some questionable fashion trends, and she's going to rapid fire tell us if she likes them or not.
Yay or nay?
Yay or nays. Are you ready?
Well, are we answering too?
Yeah,
or are we,
after
are we all answering?
her answer. Yeah,
She gets
because
an
we have
answer?
to
Okay.
might switch our
Okay.
answers after to see. Ready?
Sure.
Ready? First one. What do we think about Crocs?
Oh, yay. Comfort,
Thank God.
Nay.
comfort over everything.
Hey.
If you said no,
Comfort
I
over
wouldn't know what
everything.
I would do.
Wait. Crocs with the widgets.
I'm down with the widgets because that's a form of self-expression. Quite frankly, I have been plotting to get a pair of my own. Here's why I love Crocs. Do you want that reasoning? Comfort over everything. And if you are comfortable, you can rock it with confidence, which means you'll still look good at the end of the day.
We love to see it.
Vibes. Yes. Ready?
Wait,
Oh, no,
my sister said no, and I just want everyone on the podcast to know my sister hates Crocs. How dare she?
You've
Okay,
never
next one.
experienced a Croc.
I don't
moment,
own a
girl.
pair myself because I don't think that they're cute, but I rock with it.
So every time I wear Crocs, when
So you
go
think
outside,
I'm ugly?
No, I don't think you're ugly.
Yes.
I think that they're ugly. I bought them for my brother. But
Shots
do you
fired.
live your best life?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a gardener, well, amateur, and I just need a pair of outside shoes, and I just realized Crocs are my solution. So here we go.
I'm gonna do two more. Ready? What do we think about a fanny pack?
Oh, down with the fanny pack.
Thank God, because I wear my fanny pack everywhere.
Yay!
Yeah, I have multiple fanny packs. I have converted wallets into fanny packs, and they're like my favorite accessories to like belt up a look. Now that I'm a mom, I'm not a diaper bag mom. I don't do that, so I have a fanny pack.
Okay, next.
Wait, I need something really ugly that she's gonna nay. I need to know what your nay is. Harlem pants.
Harlem pants.
Harlem pants.
I love these things.
Isn't it
Do
harem?
not even.
Oh, is it harem?
Hannah.
Harem pants.
Yeah, I think harem.
I'm
Harem
so-
pants.
I was like Harlem Shake.
Guys, I'm telling you, it's Harlem pants.
Wait, stop, guys. Wait,
Just kidding,
I wear
it's
these all
harem
the time.
pants.
So are these the pants of that like thin jersey material where they're tight at the ankle and they kind of balloon?
I'm wearing one right now, guys. I'm not even joking you.
I don't know what in the caucasity is happening with the harem pants you can buy in America, but in India they are called your salwar kameez pants, and the fact that anybody has the audacity to charge me $25 for one of these things is just beyond me. I think they're great like at home pants, like you should rock them. I don't like them beyond that. I think they're just very comfortable just to wear as pajamas, and if that's their functionality in your life, great, I'm down for you. If you are planning to rock harem pants at a dinner with me, a comment will be made. I will question it, but you can always prove me wrong and stylize the F out of it, and you know, give me a moment and I'll be a winner. I'll like be won over, but it's a no for me. It's a definite
I just
no.
want to clarify that I do wear it at home and not in public.
Thank you, Sharon.
Yes. Do you have any just absolutely not, could never walk out the house like that?
Girls, I'm married to someone who thinks wearing head to toe New York sports team paraphernalia is somehow a look. And this is the person I have chosen to spend the rest of my life with. So no, I don't have anything that says you cannot walk out looking like that.
Except for harem pants.
Well,
I mean, you know, if you wear harem pants, I'll dog you for them, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to stop you from wearing them. And that's just, you know, I got to draw a line in the sand somewhere. But I personally don't care what someone chooses to wear as long as they're rocking it with confidence. I don't like people. The thing that has always bothered me is I'll see very well dressed women, very well put together, and they're not rocking it with confidence, and you can see that they're very insecure in the way they dress themselves because for whatever reason the outfit that they wore may not be what they wanted to wear, whatever it is, and that just shines through whenever you're in something that you're clearly not comfortable in. So my personal philosophy is wear what makes you happy, because you're gonna look good if you are comfortable and happy in it. If you are uncomfortable, that's gonna show through. You know, we have a lot of brides that, and this always breaks my heart, but they're always like, I'm gonna lose like 15 pounds, so I'd like to give my measurements at the very end of the day. And I'm like, baby girl, listen, whether or not you lose the 15 pounds is not gonna stop your man from marrying you, A. It's not going to stop you from looking bomb at your wedding. B. C. It's definitely not going to stop from this outfit looking awesome. So why don't we do this? Why don't we just make the outfit and then you just alter it? Let's not do this whole unnecessary pressures on ourselves to look a certain way or to be perfect, and just embrace it and we roll with it and we'll find a tailor and get it tucked in. That's all we got to do. That's not a big
Love
deal.
yourself as you are.
Yes.
Exactly.
lessons we've learned. Wear whatever makes you comfortable and happy. 2, Leah is too cool to be hanging out with any of us and has experienced more life.
Then
Who
all
And
of us
some things we
combined.
didn't
I
even touch
can't
on.
relate.
Are you joking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But yes, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you to all our listeners for listening in. We go follow ammachic on Instagram, and also follow us on Instagram at Filter the Podcast. And you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, YouTube, and I think that's it. Send in questions and comments through the link in our bio. It's anonymous, so we won't even know who you are. Or you can DM us on Instagram because we love to chat and we'd love to get to know you.
Yeah, and we're really funny. So if you DM us, we'll have some funny chats.
We sure will. Also, we'll tag West by East because they're awesome. You should check out their
Yes.
Instagram.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Definitely go stalk them.
One more time, thank you
Yes,
to Leah
thank
for joining
you.
us today,
Thank you.
sharing all your insights with us.
It's so nice to see this.
Thank you so much for educating us on different things. You're awesome.
Aw, thanks, girl. Well, this is a nice little lovely way to spend the evening. And not being a responsible adult. So
Yes.
thank you for that.
No
So,
problem. Thanks for joining us.
Yes. Thanks for listening, best friends. We love you. Jesus loves you. See you in our
Amen.
next episode.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.